Hey everybody, it's Theresa here of Larkin Design, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome back to my soft blog relaunch and soft YouTube channel relaunch. I've been sort of jumping back in here and getting back into a regular schedule of video and blog content for you. I never really went anywhere. I still have been active with my design team commitments and have been active in the industry, but took a few months off from sharing here on YouTube. So I wanted to welcome you back. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. I'm so glad you're here. This is the place for all things Pocket Pages. That is pretty much my little area of comfort, and I occasionally share 12 by 12 layouts, and I do traveler's notebooks, and I pretty much spend most of my time here in my studio documenting my life, my family life, with a husband, 4 kids, a dog, 2 cats, and a bunny. So lots to photograph, lots of good memories being made here, and I'm glad you're here. I'm glad I can share these pretty fun things with you, and I'm just glad to be here. So what I wanted to jump off with is an introduction to my 2019 Project Life album. And so it's April, and this isn't an April Fool's joke. I've been sort of easing into my 2019 album and have sort of figured out what my rhythm is, and I wanted to wait before I shared my introduction video for this album, because I wanted to see sort of how I get going for the year. I've talked in the past about every Project Life album for me has a different feel, it has a different function. The life changes happen, and that means that our memory keeping will change and our processes will change. And I feel like I finally figured it out. I've been doing Pocket Page albums for 7 years now. This is my 7th year since 2012. And I feel like I have finally got it down. So if you're 1, 2, 3 years into it and you don't feel like you have it down yet, don't feel bad, because I'm right here with you. And there's a couple of things, because I wanted to chat about this evolution and this idea of change. I talk about this a lot, actually, how life changes happen, and that means that memory keeping changes, that means photography changes, that means our processes change, our technology changes, and that means that our albums are going to change throughout the course of a lifetime of memory keeping. Sometimes we're uncomfortable with change, or we're hesitant about change. You may be hesitating to start 2019 because you're anticipating changes. And so I wanted to talk about that, because this is, in this space, you will see changes. If you go back and look at my process videos for 2014, for 2015, they look a whole lot different than my process now. And I'm really cool with that. I think that's really awesome, and it's a sign that life moves us forward whether we want to or not. A lot of changes happening in our family right now. Our kids are all but one are teenagers now, so they're a bit older and there aren't as many opportunities to photograph them. And I'm sort of beginning the transition of where they will leave and then they won't be in the albums every week. And so the transition becomes more, what is my life? What am I doing from week to week? What am I doing with my husband? What am I doing in our home? What am I doing career-wise or professionally? And what I'm doing with the kids as well. They still show in the albums, and I'm still doing these a lot of in a lot of ways for them as well. But eventually they take over their own memory keeping of their own life. And so we're transitioning into that. And that means I am taking fewer photos these days. And what I found is that I have officially migrated into pretty much 2 weeks per layout. So a week on one side, the next week on the next side. And I really am liking that rhythm. I'm liking how the layouts feel. I'm gonna walk you through what I have of my 2019 album so far. I'm up to week 11. That has been completed. I think it's week 11. So not bad in the whole scheme of things. I really like sitting down and doing 2 weeks at a time while you have supplies out, while you're printing photos. Just go ahead and do 2 weeks at a time and get 2 weeks knocked out. I really like that, and I like the rhythm, and I like that my album probably won't be quite as stuffed this year. It just seems to be a more manageable way for me to do it, and so I'm really liking that, and I hope that by me talking about it this way that you'll be inspired to figure out the way that works for you. I'm really happy to not feel like I have to fill a 2-page spread every week. That's enjoyable when you're keeping that pace with your photographs. It's not so enjoyable when Friday comes along and you're like, oh crap, I haven't taken any pictures this week. Like, that is trying to change your life to suit a project, and I think that we should change the project to suit our life. So here we are, and welcome back to my channel. Again, I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you for following along. Thank you for subscribing and for supporting me here. Feel free to leave a comment below and let me know if you've started on your 2019 albums yet. I would love to hear. I'd love to see what you're up to. So if you want to tag me on your projects, I would love to see that as well. Be sure to like, and if you haven't subscribed, then subscribe to my channel as well. I'm going to change the camera and put it up above so that we can look at my album. This is my album for this year. It's the Mint We Are Memory Keepers, and my binder here for 2019, or the label, and then that's what it's looking like from the side right now. So I'll flip you around and see you on my... Okay, so this won't really take long because there's just a few weeks to share with you. Again, my label here with just 2019 and 2 stars. I also cut little transparency pieces to put over those labels, just so that the stickers don't fall off, but they're easy to replace if something happens to them. They're pretty easy to replace. So my opening layout here, let me make sure that the album is in a good place for you to see. My opening layout here, this was done for Click Hits a couple of months ago using Paige Evans. One thing I did after the fact was it was hanging off the edge a little bit where the binder punch was, that binder seam. So I cut that off and then just punched it into the page protector itself, and then that way it lines up nicer with the Design A page protectors. this is the back of that layout, and then I still have to figure out what I want to do here. I kind of want to do like a family photo and maybe an individual photo of each kid here or something like that. We just haven't had any decent weather to be able to take outside pictures recently. So that's something I'm waiting for, and that can happen anytime. It's just a kind of like to introduce who's in the album, I guess. This is a Celine Studio layout for, I think it's like the first 2 weeks of January. I just dated it January 1, 2019, because at that time I really wasn't sure how I wanted to do it. I've said this before, there's a tremendous benefit sometimes in waiting before you start your albums. Just start taking photos and just see what it feels like before you start the albums. And that's one of the reasons why I recommend that, why it's not so terrible to wait. If it's April and you haven't started your album, it's okay. There's actually benefits to waiting. Week 3 here. So, and at this point, I'm kind of falling back into the 2-week spread. So week 3 here and week 4 on this side. And I have to say that I don't really know for sure if these pictures really are specifically from week 3. They may be combined between the 2 pages, and I'm okay with that too. I just like to have a general idea of what the time frame was for the photos on the layout, and I'm not the best at dating photos. That's something that I'm not really so good at. So week 5 here and week 6, this was done with some Studio Calico and Pink Fresh for the In My Pocket class. So that process video is in My Pocket Volume 1. There's a layout here coming up next for week 7 and 8 that are for Citrus Twists that I can't share yet. So they will be on the blog in a couple of weeks. And then weeks 9 and 10, this is Studio Calico, the April kit. I think it was, no, not April, the March kit. And then week 11 was a 2-page spread, and this was for Celine Studio as well. And so the rest is still to be lived and still to be documented. So that is just a quick introduction of how I'm doing my Project Life album this year. Thanks so much for joining me. I'll see you back here again soon. Bye-bye.